Come on, play.
Knockouts and TKOs starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? It is another Tuesday. This is Knockouts 3 Counts. It's Halloween week. Me and J-Bone and Corey have been all over the place, but we got a debut episode for you today. The champ is here. It's not John Cena, but we've got your new WBO, NABO lightweight champ, Double J Pagan. What's good, my man? I appreciate you.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, man. Looking forward to it. Shout out to my guy, Chris de Blasio and Salida Promotions putting all this stuff together. Like I was talking about before we went live, man, you know, I got to see you fight on one of the Shields cards, and I was keeping up with what you had going down this past Thursday. We're going to get into that. We're going to have to get into your Halloween costume and why it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. J-Bone, are you still alive over there from Cheapy Creepy, bro?
Bro, yeah, I'm alive, barely. That's what we're calling
Burrito's
it.
not.
Man.
I heard Burrito's not, though.
He is not. He is. If I didn't wake him up, he'd still be sleeping on my couch if he had it his way.
He had a rough one, and then Corey and I were on the call.
On this weekend, that's for sure.
Man, see, I should have, you know, I was with J-Bone night one at Creepy GP. It was a great time. Saturday night, Corey and I were calling fights up in Muskegon. Shout out to Legends of Combat, Spectation Sports. Thanks for having us. Shout out to past guests of the show, Cody Stamen getting himself a dub, Brett Big Dog Martin getting a big knockout, and Calvin Harbaugh getting the reverse omoplata, man. It was a good night of fights. Shout out to Matt Friendo and them. But we weren't the only ones that have been busy in the last week, my man. You've been out here serving up hands for breakfast out here in Thursday in Puerto Rico, bro. Talk to me about this fight. Before we get to the fight itself, one thing I always love to start with on the show is getting to know a little bit about how people found their way to the sport. What was the pull for you? What hooked you? Was it like somebody that you saw that was like, yo, I want to do that? How'd you find your way to the boxing ring?
Well, my dad played an integral part in me becoming, being what I am now. He used to box when he was younger, and I always wanted to be like him. And we always used to host fight parties. The first big fight party I remembered was when I was 7 years old when Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya.
I remember that.
Ever since that fight, I was like, this is what I'm doing. I didn't do any other sports. Like this boxing is that's what I stuck with.
I like that, dude, because I started boxing when I was 13. Like I said, I was in that time period too. I can still remember sitting watching with my coach when Mayweather fought Ricky Hatton, rest in peace. So yeah, man, exactly coming up right in the same era of boxing I was watching, man. It's always fun to hear how people get into that stuff. For me, it was having CP and Crohn's and all those things, and then to see, somebody like you, you grow up in it with your pops, and now that you've made your way up to a pro, you got to talk to me a little bit about this fight. Was this fight any different for you? I mean, obviously, we were talking about before we went live, I first saw you fight on one of the Shields cards, and now you're fighting for a world title. Was it any different in the lead up to this, or do you take it like another day in the office?
I took it as another day in the office, but at the same time, in the back of my head, it's like, this is the biggest fight of my career, so I prepared for that, and I knew what I was getting into going in, but it's business as usual. I'm always mentally prepared for the task at hand.
Man, I could never imagine, like I said, growing up boxing myself, like getting to the point where you got to be able to fight for a world title and do it in Puerto Rico, bro. Talk to me about that. What was it like getting to fight over there, bro?
It was amazing. This was my second time fighting in Puerto Rico. I fought there last year as well. It's a dream come true. I grew up playing Fight Night you know,
I feel you.
creating my own character, creating
Yeah,
forms, and
Mhm.
just
I still
dreaming
got
of being on that
Champion.
stage. Hell yeah, you know
I still got it downloaded on
yeah,
my Xbox. I was
it never
playing it
gets
the other
old.
day. When my Xbox, when the internet was out at my house, I was playing it just literally like a week ago.
It never gets old, man.
Yeah.
I just dreamed of being on that stage, you know, being in the career mode and stuff. Now I'm like I'm living it, so it's pretty surreal.
Yeah. Uh, Kyle had kind of mentioned the whole expectation thing. It's kind of hard not to have an expectation for yourself once you've gotten, like you say, to that point in your career where you're already fighting for belts and stuff. It's got to mean a lot to you to reach this point. But I mean, when when you come out with the type of victory you did in a title bout, it's just got to lead to even more expectations in your head.
For sure. You know, I did have high expectations in the beginning of my career. We wanted to fight the toughest fights because that's what's going to get us ready for. That's what got us ready for the stage that we fought on this past Thursday. So we just want to continue that momentum, continue fighting the toughest fights, so we can prepare for the next step. You know, which is the world title, like the grand stage. So one fight at a time.
Well, you already talked about and alluded to obviously it being the biggest fight of your career, but with, like Corey mentioned too, the way that fight went against Malik Montgomery, man, you were in there, you guys were banging. I went
Yeah.
back and watched that. If you didn't get to see it, check it out on DAZN Boxing, man.
Right now, as we speak, I'm
dude,
watching it right now.
my man was in there throwing hands. That was a dog fight. That's the type of fight that the fans like to see. Does it make it any sweeter for you that you won a title in that fashion? Being able to get a stoppage after having to go to war with somebody. Not that it wouldn't have been sweet to go in there and get a 30-second knockout, but it's got to be a little bit more rewarding when you fight 9 rounds and, bang it out with an opponent like that and then still come out and are able to come out victorious.
100%. I feel like it's even more satisfying to win in the later rounds in the fashion that I did because I showed myself what kind of shape that I'm in. Like just how good the camp was. My team got me well prepared for the fight. So like just seeing just as each round passed, and then it ending the way it did, it just shows me like, I was ready for this. I was more than ready for it. So big shout out to my team for getting me ready for this fight, and I'm just over the moon about it. I'm happy.
How much actually?
Go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
How much actually changes in a camp leading up to a belt opportunity like this?
Just the workload picks up. Like we work a lot on strategy, a lot of sprints. A lot of days on the track.
Gotta get those miles in.
Got to, and a lot of rounds of sparring. So yeah.
There's no making up miles, that's for sure. I mean,
yeah.
that's one thing, there's no pretending those,
At all. It'll show in the ring too if you are pretending. So you gotta be at your
real quick,
best.
I just want to comment on this fight. I'm watching this fight. I'm in about round 7 right now. Through this fight, dude, you progressively look like you're getting stronger. Is that something that you noticed in the fight? And when did you know, like, okay, I got this, I can put this away?
Yeah, I mean that's what we trained for. We knew that his style, he throws 100 punches around, and he's in amazing shape. So we had to be able to keep that energy and surpass it. We couldn't do any less than matching his energy or just being above that. So we trained really hard to be in that kind of shape.
Okay, so now that you've gotten this win and you were able to do it in the fashion that you were in, that's one thing that I always love. We had Sammy the Heat Worthington. Shout out to her. Shout out to Build Your Better Life and these hats that we got on as well from that episode. But we were talking to her, and one thing that really stuck out in our chat with her was she talked a lot about visualization, not just what she wanted out of like her own life and things, but she talked about how she does that a lot with her career. Like, obviously you're set and you're focused on, the fight you're in, the camp you're in. In her case, she just won the WBA championship. And then now it's what's next, which for her could have possibly been Katie Taylor. For you, when you look at the Rolodex of your division and even above your division, what are some of the things that you've got in your sights following this fight?
I mean, of course, world title, fighting one of the bigger names in the sport and in my weight class. Uh, just continuing to be successful and continuing to get these wins, pretty much. Take it one fight at a time, of course, you know?
When you say the bigger names, man, one thing that I like about your style is while you can box, this fight showed that you're not afraid to get in there and brawl and bang if you have to.
Mm.
With both of those things being said, that you can do both, is there anybody in particular you think that you match up with good styles wise? Because that's one thing about boxing as opposed to MMA. I'm not going to say that styles don't make fights in MMA, because they certainly do when you've got like wrestler versus striker or something like that. But in boxing, more so when you take out the ground game of it, I really do think the styles make fights, moniker really kind of plays a little more to that.
Mm.
So do you feel like your style makes you match up, better with, this guy versus this guy, or that guy versus that guy?
I feel like it does. I feel like I consider my style just one that's able to adapt in the fight. If a guy wants to brawl, I'll brawl with him. If I have to, I will, and I'm able to, because I'm in the shape that I'm in, and I the training that I'm doing. So I'm just able to adapt to all styles. So I feel like I will match up really well with some of these bigger names.
And talking about those things, getting to fight on, fights like we said, like the Clarissa Shields fights. You did the Hall of Fame fight. Does fighting on those stages kind of make it a little easier for you to then come in a situation like this, where it's like, okay, I've already fought on a world title card that was on DAZN pay-per-view. I've already fought at the Hall of Fame fight, which that in of itself, because of the prestige that carries too. Did those things kind of at least make it a little bit more of like, okay, I belong here headed into that fight?
For sure. Each fight taught me something different, and I took that with me, and I brought it into this fight. But I knew once this fight was offered to me, I was like, I know I belong here. Like, absolutely, let's make this fight happen, like ASAP. That's the fight. This is the fight that I wanted. So, for the next fight, if it is a bigger opportunity, I'm gonna take it, because I know that I'm more than ready for it. I know what I'm capable of.
My man said chances make champions. It's what I like to hear. I like it. All right, man. So let's talk a little bit about outside of boxing for a minute, man. Like I said, one of the things that made you stick out to me and made me say, yo, we got to bring this dude on the show, because I feel like it's going to make for some good conversation. As anybody that follows our show knows, we are also a pro wrestling show, and I'm going to put it out here for anybody who's listening. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. It says there's about 200 of you guys in here right now. We are going to be talking with the one and only Raven about the Raven Nevermore documentary that's coming up soon. So if you guys are checking this out, make sure you throw in questions for all that good stuff. And if you check it out on Amazon Prime, let us know what you think. But with that said, I peeped the Stone Cold kit. You could show you the back of the shirt, I happen to have the Detroit Stone Cold shirt on. Shout out to my guy Kelvin in Texas. Great work last fight. Damn right.
Thank
My
you.
man's got him a belt. Talk to me about that, bro. Were you always a wrestling guy? Was that just like one thing for that fight? I mean, bro, that ain't no coincidence. You had the vest down to it. The shorts looked like the old jorts my man used to be wearing. All you needed was a knee brace and to hit a Stone Cold Stunner. We'd have been all right.
If I'm being honest, I've really started like getting into it more like this year. Honestly,
Okay.
like really into it. But I've always known about the legend Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and all of them. So I always knew that Stone Cold, nobody matches that aura. I feel like once you hear that glass break, you know it's gonna
fucked up.
You already know, like the crowd goes crazy for that. So I was like, I got to do that. I saw a pair of socks at one of the stores at the mall. I had Stone Cold on it. I was like, I'm about to do Stone Cold this fight. I think it's like the perfect opportunity. So that's where that came from.
Hell yeah, that's dope. So you
Yeah.
said that you
They
got
didn't
into
let
it
you
really in the
slam beers
last.
on the way in or nothing?
I know. Come
I
on,
know,
man.
that would have been cool. You know, that would have been pretty cool.
On the way in, though. On the way in.
Yeah.
Now we know what you got to be for Halloween, bro. Now you just got to pull out the fight kit vest again. Get you a couple of
Yeah.
Coronas or your drink of choice, bro. We'll be looking all right.
Yeah, I
Good
got
question. Good question, Kelvin. I was actually getting ready to ask about that. So since you said that you just got into wrestling more so in the last year, Kelvin said, what current wrestler has, the aura in your opinion? Who's somebody that's vibe sticks out to you in wrestling right now?
I gotta say, in the current day,
Yeah.
I'm not really like big on the current day wrestling
You're watching.
right now.
Okay, so you're getting into the old stuff back.
I'm more of like
Okay.
the Attitude Era. And,
So who sticks out to you other than Austin?
Hollywood Hogan.
Rest in peace.
Yep. Yeah, the NWO. That I've been watching stuff on the NWO. I'm huge fan of that. I think that's it's badass, you know.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
NWO was definitely where it was at. I came up watching right in that time period. NWO changed wrestling, man. You can still go to any wrestling show right now in 2025. And 9 times out of 10, there will be an NWO shirt somewhere. Hell, I think I might still have like the Wolfpack flag from back in the day. You remember those? The big old giant flags you could buy at the WCW shows.
Oh man,
yeah, dude. I think I got one of those down in the basement, bro.
I used to think we were in gangs in middle school because we'd always rock our NWO stuff, man, and they would just suspend us all the time.
No
Can't
shit.
have that in here.
No shit though, for real.
But to round back to Kelvin's question, Kyle, if we answer that, aura wise right now, I think it's got to be Roman Reigns, man.
Yeah. Can't argue that. I mean, the man's got to deal with Jordan right now. The dude is about as hot as you can get right now. Hey, man, I ain't mad at it. That's a good choice. I can't even say nothing. That's a good choice. The whole world
stops when he enters the building. Pretty crazy.
I mean, well, dude, the guy's built like a brick shit house and looks like the Samoan Hulk. So I mean, that tends to do those types of things to those people. Right, but man. Hey. So since we've talked a little bit about boxing, we've talked a little bit about pro wrestling. Speaking of DAZN, this weekend, one of our own, Esteban the Mohawk Rodriguez, is making his debut, and in the main event, or not debut, I should say, but Michigan and BKFC is making his debut here in Michigan. He'll be in the main event. Talk to me. Have you ever checked out Bare Knuckle at all? If so, as a pure pro boxer yourself, what do you think of those fights?
Hey, big respect. Big respect to all of them that step in there and do that. I've seen Mohawk, he's been getting some knockouts,
he had the fastest
big respect
one
to him. Yeah, that was badass. I got nothing but respect.
I'm gonna make sure he sees this. This dude cranked off 9 punches in 3 seconds and just like straight motored this dude.
That dude's a beast, man. He's a beast.
And the energy this dude has, like as soon as he walks in there, like most people would like blow themselves up with as much energy as this guy expends in walking to the fucking ring.
He's got the same energy when he comes on the show.
He does though, dude. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is. Don't matter if it's after training. Like I don't know if he like stores something in that fucking mohawk he's got or something, but I need some of what this dude is drinking in the morning. But
he's always on it. That's for sure.
Hell yeah, he's got a big fight, dude. He's fighting Zach Cavender in the main event this weekend. It'll be dope to see that one. The reason I asked that is because we're starting to see a lot more boxers kind of make their transition over there. Paulie Malignaggi just fought last weekend, a guy I loved watching growing up when I first started boxing. And then you've got guys like Austin Trout, who held the belt over in BKFC for a while. Do you think that having a clean like boxing style like that, being able to be elusive, maybe be able to counterpunch a little bit better, what do you think about the boxing style makes it conducive for something like that, as opposed to some of the guys you see that, I mean, obviously are just brawling, but it's just always slick for me as a guy who came from boxing before MMA to like see some of these guys go in there. And when you can get in and get out and these guys are taking like no damage, not nearly throwing as many punches, obviously, as you do in a boxing fight, but it's just nasty to see them tear somebody up with the counter shots.
I mean, they call it the sweet science for a reason. Boxing is it's very technical. It's a very technical sport. I mean, of course, you have your brawlers and stuff, but when you have a pure boxer that's been doing it for most of their life, and you put them in there with the bare knuckle fighters that they know street fighting and stuff, the boxer's gonna find a lot of success in there.
Yeah, man. Corey, did you get to check out? Did you get to see Paulie and Bare Knuckle the other night? Shout out to our guy Greg Bloom, CEO over there at BYB as well.
I did not. I seen the highlights of it, and I kind of watched the media reruns, but I did not get to watch the actual fight in its entirety. No.
His face was pretty messed up after that.
Yeah.
See, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, I really wonder with Paulie. Like, Paulie got the dub, but my immediate thought after watching it is, I wonder how Paulie would have done in a sport like that. Let's say if he did it, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that, because, like, obviously Father Time is undefeated. Mm-hmm. It's going to catch every one of us. Don't matter who you are. Don't matter how good of a fighter you are. That just happens. And then when you add to the fact that we're now fighting bare knuckle, it only takes one shot to slice somebody up, like, like you got in a fight with Jason. So with that being said, it's just, I feel like with a lot of that fight, he fought Tyler Goodjohn, who is a vet as far as the bare knuckle stuff goes. But I feel like Goodjohn got a lot of that damage when they were fighting on the inside like that and then using the clinch. That's the thing that makes bare knuckle so interesting, because you can fight in the clinch like that. It's not like boxing where you get the the immediate break if you tie somebody up or whatever like that. If you can hold that, get that tie clung, be able to keep punching, bro, it's it can get nasty in there. But shout out to Paulie. Like you said, he got the dub, looked a little bit banged up, but I know he signed a multi-fight deal, and that's one that we're trying to throw together with BYB. That was going to be interesting. Also, before I forget, shout out to Christine Faria, who just won the Queen of Violence championship over there in BKFC. She said she's going to try to slide back through after these Michigan fights. What up, though, Asa? Are you checking out Bare Knuckle this weekend? But yeah, man, it's just crazy to see how like that's evolved. I guess you could just call me a straight fight degenerate at this point, because whether it's UFC, boxing, bare knuckle, shit, karate combat,
hey, it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Look here, bro. That J-Bone was like trying to goad me into getting into another mosh pit at the damn Creepy Cheapy, and look, I wasn't trying to have to backdrop somebody on the hardwood again, okay? That would have been your fault. True story. I still blame you for that. But, all right, man, how much outside – here's a question for you as well. How many, like, outside of your fights? Like, obviously, I know everybody watches tape, or at least sees something on the people that they fight. But when you're not in camp and things like that, how much are you keeping up with not just boxing? Do you watch UFC like that stuff? Or do you watch, karate combat or any other kinds of combat stuff?
I kind of keep up with it here and there, like UFC. Like I kind of have an idea of what's going on and everything. Mostly the boxing. I watch football, of course. I'm a Lions fan.
Yes, sir. That's the fuck I like to hear, man. You already know, man. It's what a time to be a Detroit fan. My dad would have been losing his mind the last few years, too.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with them.
Growing up, I don't know how long you've been a fan, but yeah, it's funny seeing a lot of the people that did not grow up with all the heartache.
Dude, we got bandwagon fans probably bigger than any team in the NFL right now.
And I'm happy for them. I'm happy they didn't have to experience all that shit that I did. I'm glad they didn't waste so many damn Sundays to finally have a decent team to watch.
All those Thanksgivings down the drain.
Right. But that being said, I'm happy for the bandwagoners. That's for sure. I'm happy you guys didn't have to. Yeah,
bro. I still remember going to the Silver Dome and seeing Barry play. The fuck you talking about? Fuck you talking about, dude?
Tickets were like $25 back then.
No shit. Dude, I asked my dad, ironic because we're talking about Pontiac Silverdome. My first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 23. I asked my dad how much they paid for like tickets to WrestleMania 3. He's like, I don't know, paid like $10.
Yeah.
I'm like, $10, motherfucker. Like, I paid a lot. I paid like between the 2 days, I paid like 100 times that when we was in Vegas. See,
WrestleMania 3 Pontiac Silverdome coaster, bro.
That's awesome.
that's dope. That's hard. Fucking A, dude. It's
That was
crazy.
the
It's
price of a
crazy,
ticket right there. $10.
dude. Everything is getting so expensive right now. It's the thing is, bro. I wish we lived in a time right now where there were like more fights where you had like the big fight atmosphere. Like for you as a fighter, man, like what do you think it's gonna take for boxing to kind of I don't want to even say like rejuvenate itself, because when you get a good boxing fight like what we just had with Canelo and Crawford, you know what I mean? Boxing can still bring the spectacle.
Yeah.
But like you being in the sport, being a pro yourself, moving your way up the ranks, like what do you think is going to take for boxing to kind of like get back on that level of prominence like it once had?
Man. Just they gotta continue the good matchmaking. But what's
That
taking
part.
over now is the celebrity boxing and stuff. Like, I mean, Jake Paul fighting Tank Davis.
What do you think about that? I want to know what you think about that. I think Tank should have fought Roach again, but that's just my thoughts.
He should have fought Roach again, but if you think about it from a business perspective, like Tank's
He's trying to get paid. Shit.
His biggest payday of his career, you know. So he's definitely he's trying to get that money, of course. Maybe the Roach rematch will happen down the line, but I mean,
how do you see that fight really playing out? Like, I mean, dude, no disrespect to Tank. Tank's a dog, but look, dude, he's 150 pounds maybe, and Jake Paul's gonna be like 225 and shit. Like,
I can't even like imagine it. Honestly, it's like when you're playing Fight Night, you're using a heavyweight fighting a flyweight or something.
Tank's punches are gonna feel like he's getting flicked unless he just catches them clean on the chin somehow. But I mean, I don't feel like Jake Paul's gonna let that happen either.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
I just feel like the size difference is so wild in this. Not that he's not had them before, but holy God, I mean, Tank fights at like 135, bro. Like,
and he's like 5'5" or 5'4" or something.
Yes, like that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like how, although I say that, but then Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather, so
that was another weird fight.
Dude, it's so crazy that those are the things that draw. Because then when you think, okay, do you know much? Have you? This is a good question too. You know, it's sad that when you talk about like the Mike Tyson fight and things like that, it really lends to like pro wrestling where name value is, you know what it is, and you could bring back one of the OGs and it'll sell pay-per-views. Have you gotten to read into any of this with like now Dana White getting working with Turkey Al-Sheikh and they're gonna have like TKO boxing? Have you heard anything about like how they're gonna run their stuff?
I mean, I've heard a little bit about it. I haven't been like too caught up on it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be similar to UFC. They're gonna have
the best, and that's basically what I took. I think the matchups will be better. I think the matchups in TKO boxing will be dope. Now, I wonder how the pay would be. That's what I was about to say. Now, see, the pay is where I feel like there's going to be an issue, because if I'm not mistaken, and Kelvin, shout out to our guy Kelvin with BCP Plus, shout out to my guy Rob over there. I've done some stuff with them out of New York. But the interesting thing with that is, like you said, from what I've read, it's like the pay scale is a lot like how they're doing the UFC fights. Yeah. And you got to have like so many fights like for your money to really go up. And it's not like in traditional boxing where, you know, once you get to like, I don't know, we'll just say world title fight or whatever, insert big fight here where you get paid. I feel like there's, from what I've read, is such a structure that there's not like that big, oh shit, I fought for the title, so now I'm going to get, I'm about to make a shit ton of money, at least based on the way the model looks. Now, to answer your question, at least for me, Calvin, I think like JJ said, I think it'll make good matchups, because that's one thing I think UFC does better than boxing a lot of times, and that's why, it's gained some of the popularity it has. But I don't know, man. maybe call me the disgruntled MMA guy, but knowing so many guys that have fought in UFC and knowing what some of these dudes got paid, bro, I'm always gonna be pro fighters make more fucking money. I don't know what else to say on that one.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate in that aspect, but I do think there's some serious positives potentially for boxing, just to have a more ball rolling type of schedule where there is these big matchups like you guys had spoke about. I mean, you see what the UFC does with their numbered events and stuff like that, but just the fact that there's content in people's eyes for them to be able to view on a regular basis. You don't have to try to follow 14 different organizations to see who the next big guy is up on the rise. Just the fact that you'll be able to see, hey, look, this next Friday we got X versus Y, and whoever wins that fight is probably next up for, champ or whatever the case. It'll just be that instead of trying to constantly see, well, okay, this guy's a mandatory and then this guy, but everybody wants him to fight this, and it's just like it becomes this convoluted system in boxing where if you can clean that whole aspect of it up and actually present a product where fans that are watching and aren't necessarily as tuned in, the casuals and stuff, I think it could help in that regard. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about actual athletes and stuff, other than the potential for exposure, I definitely think it hurts, pockets.
Yeah.
See, the interesting thing with those fights too, though, is then you got to think about it in the sense of like, okay, so they're doing the pay scale and things like that, but we already know, like we talked about, you got in boxing, you've got the WBC title, which is obviously most of the time the big one. You got WBA, WBO, you've got all the big sanctioning bodies, right? I don't know. The real question is, do you really think that brand could ever get to a place that it could overtake like the big sanctioning bodies, like a WBC or anything like that? I think the only thing that would help them at all is that they got Turkey Al-Ashik involved and he's got control of the Ring magazine. But realistically, I don't think that the big sanctioning bodies are really ever going to go anywhere in boxing.
They'll always be here, honestly.
Yeah, I think they might be able to make their own spot, but as far as to ever like make it go like take over, I just think there'll be I think if anything, if you want my honest opinion, I think it would just be like they'd be another player. Like
it's a tall order.
Hell yeah, especially the history.
I can absolutely agree with all of that, except for the fact that if the attention, because of what we've already seen with Turkey, right? We've seen him dropping big pockets, making big matchups, like I was saying before.
Yeah, but according to that pay scale they had though, are they really going to be paying people like Turkey always did?
Well, I think what they'll do is they'll pay for the big matchups and for the big stars and stuff like that, so they can get their ball and the attention and eyeballs on their organization. And I think what their plan is, at least, is to make all these WBOs and all that type of stuff not necessarily obsolete, right? Because, like you say, it's a historical boxing fact at this point to have all these organizations and stuff like that. It's just for the old heads of boxing and for people that are tuned into boxing, there is no getting rid of that stuff. But for the people that are less tuned in and stuff like that, I do feel like if they're able to steal the media attention and the market attention, it could make those other organizations really just diminished, like almost entirely.
It'll be interesting to tell. I don't know. For me, I think he ends up being. I think they end up being another player, just at least as far as boxing goes. Only because, like I said, I just don't see the other sanctioning bodies ever truly being out of the picture, just because there's too much history there, there's too much lineage there, and when people think of boxing, you know that there's multiple different champions. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, bro, like at least it's another wrinkle that it can add to boxing. I don't know how long it'll take before that'll actually like kind of manifest itself. But we talked about Canelo and Crawford, bro. I know you had to watch that fight. Bud at this point has pretty much almost made it unarguable that he's looked at as the number one pound for pound fighter in the world right now. What do you think of that fight, bro? And what do you think we see next from Bud?
That's exactly how the fight is exactly how I played it out in my mind. That's exactly how I predicted it to go. Crawford just too elusive, I feel. And with his wrestling background, he's very strong. Like he's a strong dude and he walks around heavy in weight, so I knew he had a chance against Canelo. I knew he was going to beat Canelo. Canelo's kind of been on like the downside. He's been, he's gotten really comfortable. He's gotten older, up there in age. Even though Crawford is older, actually.
I was going to say, because Canelo's not super old. It's just, but the guy's got damn 70 pro fights.
Yeah,
70
pro fights.
Yeah, he has a lot of fights. So he's
a lot of miles, though. That's a lot of miles.
Yeah, a lot of miles.
On a new car, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. So, I mean, Canelo could retire right now and he's well off. I think they both took the fight just to make that payday, of course. But big respect to Crawford for making history. He's a legend.
I gotta be honest. The biggest thing that was surprising to me with that fight is I really didn't know how Bud was going to be able to handle the size of Canelo in terms of just because of the way Canelo fights. Like Canelo's one of those guys that can make you wear his weight for rounds and just bang up your body until you start to get tired and then take people out of their game. Bud beat him in that game. He beat him elusively, like you said, and he out-punched him.
Yeah.
He out-punched him. That was the one thing that everybody said going into the fight. Is Bud going to be able to take the punches of Canelo? Canelo, not that there was ever a point where I said, oh shit, Bud's about to finish him. But like I said, that was like the most complete victory he could have had, I feel like.
Yeah.
Short of just going in there and finishing him out, dude. Like, I mean, he outpunched him, he outboxed him, he didn't get bullied around, even though he was coming up in weight. I mean, that was just something that was beautiful to see, dude. And I like I said, I have all the respect in the world for Bud Crawford. I am excited to see what he's got next. All right, I got 2 questions left for you. We'll let you get you out of here, bro. So, obviously, like I said, we also cover the pro wrestling thing, and when we have wrestling guys on, we usually talk about a segment called Locker Room Etiquette. But it's not what you think. We'll get what are some of your pet peeves of the locker room? Like, we've gotten wash your balls, keep your baby mama out the locker room, bring your own wrist tape, bring your own squirt bottle, them type of things. So when we got fighters on the show, we flip it around. When it comes to fight week, do we have any like fight week superstitions? Is there any kind of shit that we got to eat like right after weigh-ins? Or now that you got a big win, what's the first thing on the menu, bro?
Well, first thing on the menu after my fights, I always have to have a Little Caesars pizza.
Gotta get them a hot and ready,
Little
bro.
Caesars,
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
That's my best pizza of all
Detroit,
Get
time.
this man a sponsorship, bro.
Yeah, Detroit style, hot and ready,
There you go.
pepperoni. That simple, that's a must.
You ever fuck with the stuffed crust from there? That's the question.
Stuffed crust is good too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little
see,
Caesars
I
is the best pizza of all
can't get
time.
with stuff. I cannot get with
man.
stuffed crust, bro.
That's all my old lady will order anymore is the damn stuffed crust from there. And it's
My
it's
kid's
good.
ears just perked up.
Stuff,
Calvin,
stuffed
did you
crust.
know that was a Detroit thing over there in Texas, bro?
Oh, man.
Hell yeah, I like that, dude. All right, with it being Halloween, are we doing anything with Halloween, bro? Are we hitting Halloween parties? I seen you and your girl, bro. Is there a Halloween costume mashup here? Where the fuck was that on Friday, bro? The fuck?
Did I not wear this on Friday?
No, you didn't. You
I
just
wore it on
wore the
Saturday.
Bad Boys hoodie and the damn mask. Of course you did. I had my suit on Friday, dickhead. What are you doing for Halloween, JJ?
Man, I don't even know yet. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure yet.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
We went and did Cheapy Creepy. I think I'm gonna be walking the nephews around on this one. I was gonna say, man, that's why you gotta pull out the Stone Cold joint.
I just have to. I might have to, honestly.
Gotta. Fuck around, find out, get him a couple
Yeah.
Steve Weisers, bro. We'll be all right, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you already know what it is, bro. So with that said, man, we got to do this again. We appreciate your time. If you got anything else, anywhere else you want the people to find you, if you got YouTube channels, any of that good stuff, or anybody else you want to shout out, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for having me. You guys are all cool as hell. I'd like to be back on here sometime to talk more with you guys. But you guys can follow me on Instagram, JJ_Pagan, or Facebook, Joshua Pagan. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yes, sir. Make sure you check the man out. And like I said, this Saturday, we're going to go check the Mohawks, set another damn record. Bare knuckle debuts here in the Mitten. We are credentialed. We will be there if you guys are up there at the Soaring Eagle. Make sure you come say hello. I'm going to spend a few dollars in the casino afterwards. You guys got to come check us out this Saturday. Get down there. Appreciate you, Kelvin. Make sure you check out BCP Plus. Shout out to my guy, Rob Williams. And make sure you stay tuned. Somebody told me that the Queen of Violence might be coming through. Until next time and in the between time, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to Build Your Better Today. We appreciate you. Peace.